What's up? Welcome to the London Project. This is a podcast about, I don't know, what's it about today?
Life.
It's about life and how game intersects perfectly with sales and hustling.
Yes, it does.
And today I've got my main man, Misim, on board with me.
What's up, guys?
What's going on? I know you asked me before why I've asked you to do this podcast.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good question, man. It's because you've been out here. You know, I've known you for a couple of years now.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known you as a real hustler. And now you're into like Facebook marketing and sales and all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
Prior to that, you was out there on the streets, street gaming, hustling. You know Oxford Street pretty well, don't you? You probably know every shop along every inch of that street.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't know how much time I've like spent on Oxford Street, Leicester Square, Covent Garden. I do know the streets inside and out. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Just walking through.
I mean, even when I moved to Covent Garden, I told you what street I live on, and you were like, the first thing you said was like, "Oh, I know that street. I've taken so many dates."
Yeah,
there.
literally. The eat outside. I've taken like quite a few dates there, and like there's actually a hotel like that I used to take. Like, I always take girls on dates there because it's a very chill place. The Hub Hotel.
Nice.
And yeah.
Cool, man. So, I mean, I think, first of all, like, who is Misim? You know, like, people are asking now, who's this guy?
Who am I?
Yeah, like, how old are you? Like, you know, what's the deal?
Right, so,
whereabouts do you stay in London?
So, I'm 22-year-old, male.
No shit.
Yeah, surprisingly. I live in East London. Around Barking and Dagenham, if any of you guys know what that is. It's quite far from Central. It's kind of a chore to come here nowadays. But yeah, I'm a like Facebook marketer, like just online marketer. And originally I'm Albanian. I was born in Albania, and when I was about like 4 years old, I moved to Italy, and I lived there for about 10 years of my life. So like different cultures, obviously.
So your Italian is pretty strong, would you say?
Yeah, it's quite good. If I speak to Italian girls, they just pretty much assume that I'm Italian, which kind of confuses them because, like, I tell them I'm Albanian, right? But because my Italian is like just fluent and like an Italian person would speak it, they just assume that I'm lying. So they just like reject me after that. Like, no, you're Italian, you're lying to me.
Oh, poor
but
guy.
then, and then when I was like 14, I moved to England, and then after to London. So yeah, there's a lot of different influences, different cultures in my life.
Yeah. So obviously, I got to know you from way back.
About 2 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah, it was on the London Project.
Yeah, that's right.
Group chat. Hence the name of this very podcast. But yeah, I think the first time we met up was probably in Camden, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yeah, I remember that day. It was quite funny. I think at the time I was really trying to get new wings, and I just wanted to just meet as many guys. Because actually, I felt a lot more comfortable approaching when I was with someone. And just because, like, just chatting together, being with a guy and just talking about game, whatever, it just made it easier for me. So yeah, you know, I was like, who the hell is Kez? Like, I was like, what kind of name is that? I mean, obviously my name is quite weird, Misim. I miss him. I've heard it all, the jokes, whatever. But Kez, I was like, who the hell is Kez? And but yeah, I was waiting outside the station. And turns out you lived around the corner.
Exactly.
And I was like such in awe of that. I was like, oh my God, I want to live there as well because it's really good logistics.
Yeah.
Camden.
Well, that's the thing. Whenever you're meeting like a new wing or whatever, like you never know if they're going to show up, if they're going to flake, if they're going to be late.
If they're a weirdo.
Exactly. So I just like stay in my house until, you know, you text and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll be there in a second.
Yeah, I had no idea that you lived around the corner. I was like, oh, this guy, I don't know where he's coming from. Like, he's probably just finished work and like he's taking the train. He's going to take 2 hours to get here. But yeah, and then like, I'd never gamed in Camden. I hadn't been in Camden that many times before. Like, Camden is not kind of like my typical environment. Just kind of find it weird. the whole. But it's got its own little vibe to it, so it's kind of cool as well at the same time. But yeah, I'd never gamed there, so it was like a new experience for me. It's quite fun. But yeah, we were just day gaming. It's quite cold. I remember that day.
Yeah, I can't remember any of the sets that we did. I can't remember any of the girls that we talked to.
I kind of remember some of the girls we talked to. I think we talked to we did like a 3-set together.
Oh, were they the ones from Sweden or
yes,
Finland?
They were from Sweden or Finland, I think it was. And yeah, it was like 3 girls. Actually, one of them, the one that I number close, she was a bit like a chubbier girl. She was quite pretty actually, but yeah, I was like, let's do it, man. I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's why I've always respected your game. You never really show any approach anxiety, like from that I've ever witnessed. You always just go straight in, dive straight in. Whereas some guys might need a bit of warming up or whatever. Have you ever felt that yourself?
Yeah, I'm definitely like, I always have that killer instinct. I always think about like, when you step up to a girl, you have to step up hard, and like that first 5 seconds, that first impression is really key on like whether she's going to stop or not, because especially in London, people are like super busy, so you have to step hard or else they're just going to ignore you. Like if you don't like make sure that your presence is felt, the girl's just going to ignore you simply because she's got lots of things in her mind and whatnot. So yeah, I always thought like that first approach, you just need to go for it. And obviously like just being out on the streets and doing tons of approaches, that's the main thing that really helps with the approach anxiety. So yeah. But
like, you didn't just kind of like, appear or whatever. You started out from a certain point. I'm kind of curious. I know that you did some stuff with Street Attraction, but I'm kind of curious as to like where you ended up being super confident on the streets. That wasn't always you. I'm sure there was a process that you went through.
Yeah,
so can we just talk about that, like your kind of early.
Like if I were to start from somewhere, I'd probably start out when I moved to England. Obviously, I was about like 14 years old when I moved here. I didn't speak any English, and like English was actually my favorite subject at school. So my English was pretty okay-ish. Like just saying hello, how are you, that basic stuff, right? But yeah, I didn't speak any English. I was like in year 9, secondary school, and I just found it really hard to like integrate into school. Like I got into a fight like the second day of school, and like since then, like all the other kids were kind of against me because it was like an all English school, and I was like one of the few foreigners. This was like in Northampton. And from then on, it was such a struggle, like socially, because it was very hard to like find friends. It took me like a year before I kind of could figure out what my surroundings were, and then like more years to actually make like any actual friends. So I was always like a lone wolf in school and like growing up. Like in college as well, I moved to London when I started college, and I had like only one friend, and like I was just like a lone wolf. I've always been like that a lot of my life. So like when I was 18, I just kind of woke up like one day and I realized that I had like no girls in my life, and I was like, what the fuck, like what's wrong with me? Like how is it possible? Like I see all these people, like they've got girlfriends, wives, whatever, and I was just like with no experience whatsoever. So I was like, okay, like I need to get a move on or else I'm gonna be a virgin forever. Like,
yeah. So what, did that come from like you being turned down by anyone in particular? Did some girl kind of burn you or anything? Or
no, I just didn't have. I had zero experience with girls. I had super high anxiety being around girls because I was actually quite a bit religious. So like looking at girls and being around them, it was like I considered it as like a bad thing, like just religiously. So I really it put me in a bad mindset with girls, because I used to get this like anxiety, like being around girls that I had a crush on. Or like I remember one time, it might sound like super funny now, but there was this one brown girl that I really used to fancy. And like,
when you say brown, what do you mean brown? Like mixed race or
like Bengali,
okay,
from Bangladesh or something, whatever. But yeah, and like I used to have such a big crush on her, and she didn't know like who I was at all. But we ended up just being next to each other on like the library computers, and I was literally like sweating. My heart was pounding, and like we didn't even look at each other. But just for the fact that she was next to me, I was just like having a panic attack. It was like crazy.
Yeah, man. To be honest, I completely sympathise with that because, like, yeah, when I was around 18 as well in college. Yeah, there was a girl that I was really into called Roxanne. I still remember her name.
Oh, man.
It was that deep. But yeah, she didn't even know that I was alive, to be honest.
I know, right?
You know what I mean? But I just like, when we were in the same class together, it was like, it was just perfect.
Oh, you were happy?
Even though I never spoke to her or whatever.
Just looking at her.
Yeah, just being in that presence was just amazing.
Yeah.
But,
mate.
but obviously now we can actually, you know, when you like a girl, you can actually act on it, you know, that's important, right?
Yes.
Very important.
Do act on it, guys.
Definitely act on it, guys.
But yeah, so, you know, I think when I finished college, I started uni, and that's when I started to like, I made it my goal, like, to actually go out, put myself out there, because naturally I'm quite like an introverted person. Like, I know Kez is not going to agree with me when I say that to him, because he's like, no, you're not. But naturally, like, I struggle making friends and putting myself out there more than anything, because I'm quite a chatty person. Once like you actually get to know me and break that barrier of entry, in a sense, I'm very chatty. But to actually like approach people or like be a bit sociable in like social groups, I've always been a lone wolf in that sense. So when I started university, I remember Freshers Week, like me and my friends, we went out to all the freaking house parties at like halls at university, and it was actually the first time I got drunk, first time I ever drank, because I actually don't drink at all now. But it was just like something that I'd never tried before, like drinking and getting drunk. So that was like something that I wanted to try out. And like I got so wasted that night, and we literally tried to get into like 4 or 5 house parties, and like one house after like one hall after the other, and like by the end of it, like we just like taking drinks from like other people's parties and like leaving because they were like shitty parties. And at the end, we actually found a really cool party, and I was just like so scared to like talk to people. But by the end of the night, because I was so drunk, I was so fucked up, like, I didn't give a shit. Like, I was actually quite fun and outgoing. But the funny thing was that, like, I didn't like drinking. I didn't like the way it made me feel. So, obviously, I tried to do the same thing, like, going out to party and, you know, trying to talk to girls, talk to people in general, because... but actually I was like super anxious and I just couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't bring myself to it. And one night where I really got fed up was like at the uni halls at Greenwich. I went to Greenwich University. So I went to this club called Sparrows, which is like at the uni halls, right? And I kind of promised myself, like, me and my friends, we were like, yeah, we're gonna go out, like, pimp it or whatever, and I'm gonna like approach every girl in there and like get laid and whatnot, like whatever, like a young kid. And that night, I got in before the club. I was so bubbly, I was so energetic. When I got into the club, I just completely like froze. Like I froze, and like I started thinking too much and like a negative spiral in my head. And I was like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. And I literally was like so fucking fed up. And at that time, I was actually watching a lot of like pickup videos. Like I ended up coming across like a lot of videos like prank. Well, first it was like prank videos, but then obviously the recommended videos on YouTube, like, oh, click on this video, and then
I found that a lot of people that's been their entryway into pickup, watching this prank YouTube. It's funny
because you see those guys, even the prank ones that are fake. You're like, wow, it's amazing how they do it. And I was watching a lot of like RSD videos, like daygame.com, Street Attraction, and I liked the Street Attraction videos a lot. And that one.
Why was that? Was that because they're here in London, or?
Because I was watching Richard. You know Richard.
Richard is the man.
Yeah, he's a fucking crazy guy, right? And I was like, and I thought I could do that, but actually, I couldn't. He made it look so easy.
Richard makes it look so easy.
He made it look so easy. And obviously, pickup videos, you always see the best bits. You don't see the rejections or what happens after, whatever. So you only see the best part of the interaction, but the way it looks, like, it's just amazing. It's like, wow, that was so effortless. Like, you think you can do it, but actually you go out there, you try it, and you just shit yourself and you can't. So that actual night in the club, what I did, I was so fed up, and I'm quite an emotional person. Like, when I get really annoyed, like, I have to act upon it. And I actually, like, put the deposit down for the boot camp. Like, the next boot camp that was available, which was like in November, and I put the deposit in, and I was like, I'm fucking gonna get this sorted because I'm too fed up with this shit. And
so that's how it all started.
Yeah, that night I was so depressed. I was so annoyed at myself. I was like, fuck it, you know. I got my loan for like university loan, like maintenance loan is called. And like, that was like one of the first big purchases that I make with it. Pay for the boot camp.
See, I didn't know that. See, that's a good story. That's a great story. So I just got to ask. So obviously, you know, you didn't go to these parties alone. You know, you had friends, uni friends or whatever.
Yeah.
What were they like with girls?
It was funny. I am, like, even though I wasn't super sociable, like, in groups, people still liked me. Like, I wasn't a freaking weirdo. Like, people still thought I was cool. Like, I used to play basketball a lot, and I used to have, like, basketball buddies, and obviously my class friends. I still talk to them. I just wouldn't open up to people. But my friends, I'm still friends with him now. He actually just finished. He just graduated, and they were kind of like me. You know, we were cool, but, like, you know, just shy kids. Basically, I went out with my friend, and he brought in his Colombian friend, and this guy apparently, like, he used to go out a lot, and he had slept with like 16 girls, and I was like amazed because, you know,
that's a lot for a young guy.
That's a lot for a young guy, and but still, even him, like, I was thinking, like, even though he had slept with 16 girls, it was still like a struggle in a way, like. The way he did it, I think it was like he had a lot of female friends, and then it was like friends of a friend, but nobody actually had the balls to, like, just
cold approach. Like,
yeah. Nobody could do the stuff that I was seeing on YouTube, and I was like, how is it possible?
It's so funny that, isn't it? Like, pretty much, like, most guys who don't have this like training or whatever, and actually learn to, like you say, you get over it by mass approaching, by constantly being out there, being social, and then you learn that there's nothing to fear from, even if you do get rejected. That it's just part of the game. There's nothing to fear. So, but before that, rejection is like the worst thing that could possibly happen to you.
It's like death.
It's like, you cannot possibly speak to that girl because, you know, she might reject you.
Like, the fears that we have in the 21st century, like, the way that I think it works is just that probably, like, thousands and thousands of years ago when we were tribes, like, if you were to approach the wrong girl and it turned out to be, like, the tribe leader's female or whatever, you just get killed. And that's the kind of fear that we have still in our monkey brain, in a sense. And it's not easy to let go of that fear. Like, it does take training, in a sense, just like how you train a muscle, you know. It's kind of training your brain to do something that is against kind of its nature.
Cool. So that's how you discovered Street Attraction, which I'm sure you're pretty good friends with those guys now. Yeah. So I've seen you on one of their videos, actually.
Some of their videos.
Yeah, so that's obviously streetattraction.com, and they have a YouTube channel. But anyway, so what was that first meeting with them, like that first boot camp?
Oh, mate, that day was like, it was the best and the worst day at the same time.
Where was it? Where did you meet?
So it's funny, we met around the corner. What's that hotel on the Strand? Yeah, the Strand Hotel. So I met Richard and another bootcamp student on the Strand Hotel.
Yeah, Central London.
I thought Richard was like 6'5" or something. Just because, like, from the videos, to me, he came across as very, like, tall and very, like, kind of alpha in a sense. Turns out that he's just, like, same height as me, actually. And then, you know, I meet him and he just won't stop talking. Like, he never stops talking. Like, the guy I was like, this guy is so fucking chatty. Like, and also one thing that I've noticed, he was very, like, touchy with me. Like, he was getting very close to me. And it was a bit weird because I'd never met someone quite as friendly and, like, hyperactive as Richard. So I was a bit like, I was still like, wow, like this guy's a legend, obviously, because I've seen his YouTube videos. But then you kind of realize that he's just a normal guy, just like everybody else, you know. He just loves women. But yeah, that day, as I said before, it was the scariest day ever because, like, obviously we had like a small brief, like what is game, how like the approach goes.
How many people were there in there?
There was 2 of us. There was supposed to be another 3rd student, but he actually missed his flight. So he came in the day after. So it was like a 2-day boot camp, Saturday and Sunday. So yeah, we had like a quick debrief telling us about game and like what our motivations for it and whatnot. And then like after an hour or so, just like kind of learning a bit more about game and how it works and the whole street approach thing, day game, different types of game, whatever. We got out of the house, and Richard, like, as soon as we get out of the house, like, he's always in hunting mode. He's always looking for the next girl to approach, and he sees it, and then we're walking like outside of the shops in like in Covent Garden, and like he just sees one of the girls that's working inside the shop. And he's like Misim, and he gets really close to my ears. He's like, "Oh, do you like that girl?" I'm like, "Yeah, she's okay." And I could just feel like the anxiety, the tension, like
he's gonna make me approach.
I was like, "No, he's gonna make me approach," and I was like, "Yeah, she's okay." And immediately, he's like physically pushing me into the set, and I was like, oh fuck. It's like my brain was overflowing with like thoughts, and he's just like, and I was like, what should I say, and he's like, just tell her she looks nice. And then like I slowly went up to the girl. She was working at the store inside, like it was a food store or something, and I was like, hey there, I can I tell you something? You just look really nice. That was like the scariest thing. She was like, thank you. Do you want to order something? I was like, no. It was like, and it wasn't even that awkward, but in my head, it was like the most awkward thing ever. And I was like, oh my God. And
you did it though?
Yeah, I did it. And actually, it felt a little bit better after I'd done it. But I had so much like anxiety in me, and I was like, you know, I was like, I just like mentally it was quite straining, like the whole thing.
Can be.
It was funny because actually on the day of the boot camp, I didn't realize it on the day. I realized it later. I had an actual panic attack on the actual day. So like I was like, my breath was like, I was losing my breath and I couldn't breathe properly. I didn't realize until later what a panic attack was, like months later. And turns out I was actually having one on the day, but like I still kept on I still kept on being at the boot camp even that happened, because I was like, look, it's gonna get better. Like you're gonna feel anxious now, but if you keep on going like slowly, it's just gonna go away, right? And it's true, like by the end of the day, I felt so invincible. Like after like dozens of approaches, like I was in such a state flow that I've actually never reached that state ever again, because it was like the first time in my life that I really put myself so out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Like for going from being anxious, standing next to a girl, sitting next to a girl, to approaching a girl and being direct to her and telling her that she was nice, like that was so out of my comfort zone.
A girl that you don't even know. Like that was just like super alien to me, and it put me in such a state flow that by the end of the day I felt like I was invincible. I think it's important to kind of like recognize how big that is as a step change from like going from, like you say, someone that's just like a normal guy, anxious. As a normal person, you don't talk to strangers. You don't talk to strange girls,
especially in London,
especially ones that you think are attractive.
Yeah.
So to go from that to like making that first
from 0 to 100, and it was just like so quick.
It's a big step.
At the end of the day, it was a big step, and as I said, like it was overwhelming, but I just plowed through. I kind of know myself a little bit that if I just keep on pushing, it's gonna get easier eventually. So I just that was my whole thinking that day. And I was just being pushed into sets, doing 1 set, 2 sets. You know, one thing that Richard told me that day, it was like my 3rd or 4th set of the day. He was like, because obviously I was like I didn't want to be in the set for any longer than like 5 seconds, you know. I just wanted to say the approach and leave. He was like, you have to stay in there until she leaves, like no matter how awkward it gets. And I think this was like the third or fourth approach. And I actually approached this girl, she was Danish. And I was like, obviously I did my opening line, hey, I think you look really nice. I wanted to say hi, the typical day game approach. And then I said to her, like, where are you from? And she was like, Denmark. And she was actually with her mum. And then after that, like, I just couldn't get any more words out. But because Richard had told me that I had to stay in the set until she left.
Don't tell me you just stood there and
I just stood there and didn't say anything for like a minute. But I looked at her, and I was probably like super anxious at, and I was like, okay. And I just stood there for a good half a minute. Because I had to in my mind. I was like, I have to stay there. Because Richard told me so.
That is dope. That is dope, man.
So funny, isn't it?
Yeah. So and then that was it. You kind of graduated onto the whole London street game scene.
Yeah.
And then but then you also went on like a little foreign thing with street attraction, didn't you?
So I think, yeah. I mean, I kept on hanging out with the boys and like. Just like they keep in touch with all of their kind of students, so
that's
just
nice.
like normally, and but I kept on going to their meetups. I kept on seeing them. Like eventually, like we just kept on seeing each other more and more, and like we became friendly, like on friendly terms. And they invited me out to one of their kind of the Balkan trip that we did together. So we went through the Balkans.
So what countries was that exactly?
That was Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, and Serbia. And this was like in 2015 summer. Yeah, it was like the most fun.
There's a video of it, isn't there? There's a video of it on YouTube.
I look like a weirdo in the video. But yeah, it was like so funny.
So what do you reckon the difference was between doing game in London and then obviously going abroad? Like, what do you remember about it?
When we came back, this is how amazing the trip was. Obviously, typically when you come back from holiday, you're a bit annoyed because it's like oh, you need to go back to work, whatever. But when we came back, we were so like kind of depressed because the quality of girls there and the quality of life in general, like there is a lot more clean. It's not overpopulated like it is in London. There's not millions of tourists. And just the girls, they're so beautiful there, man. Like honestly, the people there just take care of themselves.
Yeah, I've been to Croatia, and I have to admit, it's probably one of the friendliest countries I've ever been in. I think the people are just so nice, and like you say, they're very, 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 very hot girls as well.
Very hot.
Let's keep it real.
Yeah, it was the best trip ever because I actually hadn't been out of the country like without my parents before, like in a sense. Because I was like, obviously I was quite young. I was like 19, 20 at the time. So it was like my first lads holiday, innit?
Oh, imagine your first lads holiday being with fucking Eddie and Richard.
It was crazy.
That's amazing.
It was crazy. There was actually another student, Taka, who's still a good friend of mine, and another ex-student from like a boot camp, Jamovic, and we had hella fun. Like, everything's so cheap as well. We ended up just eating out like all the time, you know, because it's just like a few quids for like a amazing lunch or dinner there, and you know, waking up late. You know, we didn't have work or anything like that. It was just pure holiday, pure fun.
So, what about when it came to actually approaching girls? Did you find it was easier? Because I've obviously London is not an easy place to approach strangers, right?
Yes.
So you can definitely agree that it's easier to do it abroad, right?
Yeah, in terms of approaching, it is easier because it's not like, oh yeah, you're in London, like girls get approached by promoters, PUAs, strangers, you know, there's homeless people in London. So people here are a bit more closed. So approaching girls in London is probably like harder, obviously, because people are moving a lot faster as well. Everybody's moving at a certain pace, and you actually have to stop people in their tracks, especially girls. Whereas there, it's a lot easier to approach because, you know, it was summertime. Those countries are a lot more chilled out. There's not as busy. The environment is not as busy as it is here. So actually approaching girls is very easy, and yeah, like saying hi, whatnot. The opening part is it's not that hard. You don't need to like run up to girls and get in front of them, do the whole like front stop thing. You can just tap them in the back and they'll turn around and be like, hey.
For anyone that doesn't know what a front stop is, what the hell is that? Listen, come on. Just because you're an expert doesn't mean everyone else is.
So a front stop. So the way you do it, especially if you're in central London and it's quite a busy area like Oxford Street or Leicester Square. A front stop is basically when you literally chase the girl and actually run up and turn your body in front of her.
Yeah, so you run past her, then you turn around and you stop
and
directly in front of her.
Dead in your tracks. You don't move backwards, you don't move forwards, you stop dead in your tracks. What a lot of guys do, since the girl is walking in front of them, they kind of back up. And straight away, that gives a sense of not being entitled to the girls, and like it sets off the frame as like weak in a sense. So you have to stop dead in the tracks.
But it's important that you give yourself a bit of space before you stop there, because by the time the girl sees you and then stops, it'll be little steps.
Yes. So actually, what I typically tend to do is say hey as I'm getting past her. So I'm like, hey, I kind of show her that I'm gonna stop her so she can be aware of me, and then you have to give her some space. You can't just get like in front of her face. You have to give her like at least a meter or meter and a half of space in terms of like arm's length space, just so she don't freak out, because a lot of guys, they either go too close and then the girls get super scared and you already like have fucked up their first impression with her, or some guys they're too far away and then the girl can just dodge them and move to the left or right. So yeah, front stop is key, especially in London.
It's one of those things. Sometimes when you're not in a vibe, you just cannot get a girl to stop. Especially like you say, if it's somewhere busy like Oxford Street, you just can't get her to stop. Like, what do you reckon is the biggest kind of difference between a guy that can stop a girl and a guy that's having a bad day and he can't do it?
It's all in the mindset, honestly. Like, the actual like movement of it is not so key. Like, you can practice that on your friend or your wing if you're out there. You can just practice that and you can get it like right after you do it a few times. But it's all about the mindset. You have to think, okay, like I'm the man, I'm like the high value guy, and like let me think one sec.
I think I know what you're saying.
So you have to think.
You have to believe yourself,
yeah,
right?
You have to believe in yourself, and you can't think, oh, I might waste her time. If you think you're going to waste her time, then most likely you go in there, you approach her, she's going to reject you, because you actually auto-rejected yourself before you went in. So every time before, like, typically, if I'm on the street, I'm looking at girls, I'm fantasizing about like me being in bed with them, like immediately as I see them, if they're hot, obviously, and as I'm approaching, I just have that sense of entitlement as like, yeah, like this girl, I can have her. Like, I can probably fuck her if I wanted to. Like, I'm a boss. You know, I've got my life sorted. You know,
that's just
all the positive things about your life. I just
want to confirm, right, that like I know you're not being arrogant when you say all that stuff. You're just it's just a mindset so that you feel, you know, confident in the way that you approach it, because you are doing something which is pretty, you know, outlandish in a way. You can stand on the street for a few hours and not see anyone talk to anyone that they don't know.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So for a strange guy to approach a strange hot girl in London, they've got to believe in themselves. Otherwise, like you say, that vibe is just not going to be there, and she's just going to
feel like one of the biggest things in game is what you feel she feels. So if you're smiling, you're happy, you're having a good time, you're thinking about like positive things in your head, and you go in there and approach her, then she's going to feel that. She's going to definitely feel that. So obviously smiling is the main thing. A lot of guys don't smile. Before I got into game, I could not smile to save my life. I mean, I just didn't because it was just not something that I used to do. So actually, you know, my smiling improved a lot as I did more and more game.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can't go in there just grinning. You know?
No, definitely not. It has to be the thing about game is always about calibration. Everything you do, guys forget this a lot. Anything is possible in game. Like in terms of like, yeah, you could pull a girl, you can kiss a girl, like you could kiss a girl in 5 minutes, but doesn't mean you can kiss. It doesn't mean you can kiss every girl in 5 minutes. It all depends on her, what she's doing, is she busy, whatnot, and you always have to calibrate. Whatever you do in game, always calibrate. Yeah.
Cool. So while we're talking about London and that whole scene, obviously Oxford Street is pretty much where everyone seems to gravitate to. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of that street. I prefer more where we live now, Covent Garden.
Yeah. Just a bit more relaxed, really.
Yeah, where I live now.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your impression of like different areas of London and the kind of people that you meet in the different areas?
So the first like few approaches I ever did were in what's it called? Trafalgar Square. So that was like one of the first few approaches, and that's probably the best place to start out because it's full of tourists and people are just friendly because you might be the first person they've ever spoken to since they like visiting London, and like the tourists, they'd love to speak to an actual Londoner and ask them questions or whatnot. So that's probably the best place for like newbies to just go and approach, try some indirect, direct. And then, Covent Garden is quite good. People are a bit more relaxed. They're not like shopping like crazy or like, it's just a bit more chilled out vibe, really.
Yeah, and going back to Trafalgar as well, what I like about it is because it's nice and open. Obviously, it's a massive square. Sometimes people are like walking or sitting or just standing
very
around.
Relaxed. It's very like the pace of walk is very slow. A lot slower than just London in general.
So you won't need to do any
crazy street stops. No,
whatever.
You can just go up to a girl or a group of girls and be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like,
Yeah, and like you say, there's a lot of foreigners, a lot of tourists.
They're always open for a chat. Like whether you're going to pick them up or not, is great for practice because they're going to talk to you regardless of whether you have game or not.
So come on, we can't not talk about Oxford Street because obviously that's where everyone goes. Right? But in your own words, why do you think? I mean, what do you think of it first of all?
You know what? Now is kind of a shithole, full of promoters. It's funny because I was actually my friend before I came and met you. We were in Westfield and we ended up chatting with these two girls, and like they go out to all these like fancy clubs in Mayfair, and even they know that like all these promoters they stand around Topshop area. Like it's just become like so notorious now that like promoters they just live on that street.
Yeah,
I think first it was the PUAs, and then they kind of realized how like the high quality of girls is there, and they kind of taking it over now. Like girls are not just gonna get approached by like guys that are doing day game and whatnot, but also like freaking promoters are on there. So it's kind of packed out. But that being said, it's still like full of plenty of hot girls that are like shopping. It's like just so much volume there.
So it's the volume, right? You can, if you're a beginner, you can spam approach, whatever, which I don't recommend, but
you can just like take the automatic like approach and just approach as many girls as you can.
If you can stop them, obviously.
Yeah, you have to be able to stop them first and foremost, but also you have to be able to chat them up because it is the harder place. I actually didn't start gaming on Oxford. I was really scared of Oxford Street when I first went there. So in the first few months, I only used to game in Leicester Square, Trafalgar Square. And the first time I actually ended up going to Oxford Street, I was overwhelmed because there were so many people and it was so busy. It can be very, very overwhelming. Like if you're not used to being in a crowded place, like being from like a small town, like originally in Italy, like coming over to London, I was like overwhelmed. There's so many people and it was like, wow, like this is kind of chaotic. But, again, practice. But correct practice, so you have to practice the correct way.
So like on the whole, it is definitely worth experiencing.
Definitely.
Just because it will teach you how to really, stop a girl in a strong way. Because if you don't have it, then they'll just walk straight past you.
100% agree, but also like you're not gonna find crazy amount of quality anywhere else apart from Oxford Street, like, and volume at the same time, like quality and volume. You might have volume in one place but no quality, and then quality, but then you're just gonna see one girl every like 2,000 people, and like there's not much opportunity to actually practice.
Yeah.
That's why Oxford Street and just central London in general is so good, because it's so anonymous. You can just practice on girls and improve your game, and it's not going to matter because there's not going to be any repercussions.
Cool. So it's important that we kind of, obviously we talked about your journey from like beginner. That one night you got sick of being a chode in the club,
I was sick.
You committed to some coaching, and now obviously, like I said, your game is pretty strong. I can't pay any great compliments in that, really.
Thanks.
And you've also done some coaching yourself, haven't you? What's the status of that? Are you still coaching, or is it on and off for you?
I just have like a few guys that kind of help out that I know personally.
Mm-hmm.
Just like friends or friends of friends, just people that I know are kind of genuine and do want to get better, and people that don't make excuses in their normal life, which therefore are not going to make excuses in their dating life, because if you're going to be coached, you're going to be pushed out of your comfort zone, and that's not something that's very easy for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people have a big ego, and they can't kind of separate that from themselves.
I remember when one of the times I met you, I think it was in Camden fairly recently, you were saying that you just had a client who was pretty difficult to coach. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
So,
yeah.
Obviously, we're not going to put anyone on blast, but
no, definitely.
Why do you think they were? I mean, what makes a person difficult to coach?
What makes a person difficult to coach? Someone who's very picky. So, at the end of the day, it's all about practice. So, when you first start a game, you can't expect to get a 10 because you haven't put in the work. You haven't paid your dues yet. So, you're not going to be able to get 10 straight off the bat. So, you have to start from the bottom in a sense, right? So obviously you start with the cute girls first, or you just want to practice on anyone, like whether it be old people, guys, girls, it doesn't matter who they are. It's all about practice. And then once you actually develop the skill and get better at it, then you can start being picky and like doing the sniper approach. But at first, it's all about getting in that practice and that volume, regardless of who the girl is. So some guys, they're very picky, so they start making excuses, and straight away I can tell when a guy's making excuses, because I was the same guy. That was me years ago. So I know what it feels like, and I know you're going to be anxious, but I'm still going to push you into the set. Like, I can come into the set with you, doesn't matter, you have to do it. If you're going to be serious about something, you have to do it and follow through with it. So yeah, I mean, being picky also, a lot of guys obviously have questions. Mm-hmm. I'm more of like a practice over like, I'm like, my approach is like 90% doing and practicing, and 10% like questions and things that you might have in your mind. Yeah. Because obviously if you're starting out, or even if you're like inexperienced, or even like you're kind of experienced, but you're not sure about the whole process of like from meeting her to like, sleeping with her, then this is very important to do it first and try things out, and then once you've tried the thing out first, then you can have questions. Like if anybody were to ask me a question right now, like, oh, why are girls not stopping? For instance, right? Actually, that's not a good example. If you were to ask me a question now, I could. What I'd tell you would be like, do 10 more approaches or get 10 more numbers, and then come back to me and tell me if there's still an issue. Like, first you have to test things out, like beliefs that you have. So say if you think like, short girls don't like me, right?
Or girls that are walking fast.
Girls that are walking fast don't like me. It's like, what I'd tell you is, okay, you have to gather more data in a sense, do more approaches, and practice first, and then come back to me, see if you have that still question. And a lot of the time you're not gonna, because you've actually broken the limiting belief already.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I mean, I highly recommend, if you can get hold of him, get some coaching from my man.
You're telling me, bro.
Because trust me, he knows what he's doing.
It's okay, like
talking about game. We've talked about like day game and street game and all that kind of stuff, but
we haven't talked about night game.
A lot of the times that I've seen you. A lot of the times that we've had
encounters
has been at night, and I've got to say, it's just some of the best like nighttime. I'm not even gonna say game. I'm gonna say just social skills,
vibes, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's the best vibes.
Yeah, like. You know, like I've learned a lot from you. One of the things I learned from you is like I've got to be a lot fucking louder.
Oh yeah, voice is so important in the club.
I don't know how he does it, but Misim, his voice is so loud. You can be in a really loud club where you can't even hear the girl next to you, but you will hear Misim from like
you know what? So many people have said that to me. Like even promoters that I used to go out with. One of my good friends who's a promoter. He introduced me to the guy. He's like, "This is Misim. Like, you won't believe it, but he's like the loudest motherfucker ever. Like, the music might be like so loud, and I'm just like screaming and shouting.
But your voice can cut through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember there was one night, and I think it was Soho. No, there was one night in Soho Bar and Kitchen.
Sober.
And we were like
so busy.
Yeah, we were so dancing, and like you were like dancing, singing along to it. Your singing voice was louder than the fucking
music.
Than the music
and
itself.
Then everybody was like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
I know, people were just looking at you like, so your clap.
My clap.
Even your fucking clap was loud.
My clap, yeah, that's something I practiced.
Definitely remember that.
My clap was super loud.
Yeah, let's talk about night game, man.
Yeah, man. That's like one of the most fun types of games.
It is very fun.
I love night game. Like at my peak when I was going out.
And you don't drink either.
I don't drink.
This is important.
No, I just get so much vibe from the music. Like I'm very up to date with like new music, like hip hop, R&B, pop, and I just love I love music. I'm very I think I've got like ADHD, so like I struggle to keep attention. So like music is one of those things that I can focus and dial in. So like dancing, I always dance like in my house. Like I just put music. I just love music and dancing in general. Like at the gym. Like at home, I just put music on. My mom's like, "Stop that shit! Like, what the fuck? You're so loud." But yeah, that's something I've always loved. So every time I go into the club, as soon as I hear the music, I start clapping. I start like vibing, just like like people when they're singing at church. Oh yeah, oh happy day. That's how I feel when I get to the club.
Catching the Holy Ghost.
Yeah. Oh.
But, you know, I can verify that, man, because yeah, you definitely feel the vibe, and it's so genuine. Like a lot of times, you know, when you go out of like a wing or whatever, who's not really feeling that game, like they're a bit awkward on the dance floor.
Yeah, you can definitely
they're
feel
not
it.
really feeling it, but you can definitely tell that you love music. Like
I love music,
and you just kind of let that carry you. That becomes your vibe.
Yeah,
it's not alcohol, it's not whatever.
Yeah, honestly,
yeah,
it literally comes from the music, especially like the loud clubs where you can't talk to girls. It has to be physical. You have to be able to kind of get some attention from the girl and get that.
How do you get that attention?
Personally, the way I've done it in the past is just being the loudest person in the club, having the most fun. So when it comes to night game, it's completely different from day game. Like day game, you can do your sniper approach. You can talk to that one girl, and you might get her number, or you might get her on an instant day. In the club, it's like an environment which is like closed, right? So everybody is kind of like seeing what the other person is doing, like what's happening, like
their friends are there.
Like it's all a status thing, right? So the way you can kind of work the social dynamics in there is you can be the guy that's having the most fun. So for me, like shouting and just all those shenanigans and having fun, it just kind of puts the attention on me, right? So I'd be at the spotlight of the attention, me and my crew and my friends, whoever I might be with. I would be like in the spotlight, and then girls start looking. The girls start IOI, and you girls start checking you out, and they're like, "Who's that guy?" And then as soon as I see that, then I do my approach. It's kind of like a warmer approach in a sense.
Yeah.
I don't just go up in there straight away. I really like to see who's looking, what's happening, like who's having the most fun. Sometimes someone's having more fun than me. I join them, get in there, like get the spotlight attention on me, and then see whoever's looking, like the girls that are looking, then I might like go and shark attack that girl.
Okay, say you've noticed the girls kind of like checking you out because you're being a loud motherfucker in a club, right? So what would you go up to her and do? Would you go up to her and like start dancing next to her, with her, or would you go up to her and talk to her?
I mean, it really depends on the situation. A lot of the clubs that I've been to is like loud music and people are dancing. In those kind of environments, if I see that she's checking me out and she's seeing me, she's looking at me, whatever, I'd literally go up to her and just like grab her hand and start dancing with her. There's not much chit chat to be had like on the dance floor. That's not the ideal place to actually talk to a girl. So it's all about the physical contact. So
what do you mean, like you grab her hand? Like
I used to just grab girls on the dance floor, like.
Wow.
I didn't give a shit. even if a girl didn't look at me, but I was like, oh shit, like she's hot, and I just go in there and I just grab her. Like if she's feeling it, she's feeling it. If she's not, then you try a little bit more. Maybe you have a chat with her and try and warm it up in that way. But then if nothing's happening, on to the next one and try and make more noise there.
That's deep. So like when you say you grab them, what do you do with their hand? What do you actually do?
Oh man, like grab, like
spins
spins. Like you have to be very kind of experienced, like in terms of like you have to know how to touch a girl. Like you can't just like go behind the girl. Like oh my god, this is the worst thing I see guys doing at the club. Especially black guys, no offense, yeah.
No offense taken.
But a lot of guys in the club, they just try and grind on girls, like out of the blue. Like I remember seeing that when I first started going to clubs, and it's just so creepy because the girl doesn't see you, she obviously doesn't know you, so it's like the creepiest thing. Like not even having her acknowledge you, but trying to put your penis.
It's funny you say that. It's funny you say that because I've actually had girls. One girl in particular told me that she doesn't like that. She prefers it when a guy she sees the guy first, facially, and then they can get to the grinding later on.
Yes, because let's be honest here. A nightclub, one of the biggest things is like first impressions and how you look and how you really are perceived by others, right? So if she doesn't even perceive you or see you, and you're just like creeping up behind her, that's just gonna turn her off immediately, and it's gonna set up the wrong frame like straight away. So yeah.
Cool. So all right. So you grabbed her hand. She's not objected too much. You kind of had a few dances.
I mean, if she goes along with it, ideally, like.
What happens next, basically?
What happens next? Either like you start making out with her. Obviously, if the girl, she fancies you immediately, like physically, then it's like a go zone. Like just go for it. Like green lights. You start making out. You know, the tension is already there because she obviously fancies you already, or she kind of has noticed you and she likes you out of the bunch in the club, right? So yeah, like making out, like. It's not uncommon to make up with girls in clubs. Like, if you go out regularly, you will know that like a make out doesn't mean much in a club because
well, the thing is, the
make out with multiple girls and like,
the quicker you make out with the girl, I find the quicker you're going to lose her. Is my general experience.
I agree, actually. Like, you could make out with like 5, maybe 10 girls. Which is kind of disgusting. Like I think the most girls I've kissed in a night is like 6, and after that I was like, oh, what am I doing? I just feel filthy. I feel like a slut because I was just kissing anyone, and it's like it depends on what your goal is. If you want to make out with as many girls as possible, then go for it. But obviously for me, I wanted to try and get laid on the night, obviously. So you kind of want to stick to one girl and take it as further as you can. But yeah, in terms of like grabbing them, like a lot of the time you have to build some comfort because obviously the first part is attraction and you're spiking by dancing with her, grinding on her, or whatever. But then you have to kind of get to know her because you're still a stranger at the end of the day. So what I used to do a lot is be like, okay, like let's get some fresh air and like go into the smoking area, start chatting to her, getting to know her, show her that you're not just some guy who is grinding on her.
Just making out with 10 girls a night.
Yeah, and you're real and like you're vulnerable in a sense. You're a normal like human being, just like her. You know, that's very important.
Awesome, man. And obviously, you've had a lot of experience in clubs and stuff. So I want to ask you, like, from your opinion, differences between like upscale places, like the Mayfair clubs, and like dive venues. Like, and when I say dive, I mean Shoreditch. Basically.
Oh, mate, that is a fucking good question.
Yeah, like
it's a whole different ballgame.
Is it worth the money to go to Park Lane, Drummer Park Lane, or to go to Libertine or whatever? Is it worth it? And I'm not talking about like the girls that are in there, because I know they'll be hotter.
Oh, the girls.
Can you actually pull though?
That's a fucking good question. It is like it's a different like ball game in terms of like quality of girls, right? So if you go out to these clubs, Libertine, Drama, Maddox, you name it, Mayfair clubs, whatever, the quality is gonna be like extremely like high, like 10, 9s, 8s, 10s, 8 and above minimum, compared to like a normal club where the 8, like the normal 8 in that club would seem like a 10. And like 6s turns into like 8s, and you're like scrambling for food, and you're like, oh my god.
I know that feeling, man.
Typically, most clubs are like this. It's 70% guys, 80% guys, and like 30% girls, and it's a uphill climb, and it's a tough one. Like, you're gonna have to really hustle to try and get laid with a girl, and you have a lot of competition, a lot of good-looking guys, guys with game, pick-up guys as well.
Is it the same tactic? So, like, would you do the same thing in like a Shoreditch dive bar versus Drama? Would you approach girls the same way? Would you dance the same way? Like, is it the same type of game, basically?
It is a very different type of game. In like a Shoreditch club, is very much cold approach. Whereas in an actual Mayfair club, it really depends. If you're on a table and you're with a promoter, then it's very less, a lot less pressure on you, because these girls, you already have a lot of social proof, because it's mostly girls in those clubs, and not that many guys get to come in. So only like privileged guys, in a sense, like get in there, and they already know you're a high value guy, so you already have like a good bit of social proof. So it's actually, you have to slow down the game a lot more. Like, you can't be just kissing a girl because everybody else on the table is going to see that, and then you're going to be crossed from their list, because in a sense you're already
and I've not been to any of those clubs. I've literally not been to any of those Mayfair clubs, Drama, funny. Libertine. Like
in those clubs, I always tried not to kiss a girl during the night, but only after, if we pulled a girl, like in the actual like bedroom. Is it because it's like isolated them, when I actually isolated them like outside or something? Because the thing is, it's like there's going to be 10, maybe 20, maybe 30, 40 people in one table. And the thing is, if you start making out with a girl, everybody's going to assume like, okay, like that then
he's off
the market because he's with her. Sometimes it's going to raise your value if she's a hot girl and whatnot. But most of the time, it just means like, that's it. It's a done deal. Like, I'm not going to try anything with that guy because she's going off with him, kind of thing, right? Whereas in a normal Shoreditch club, like, you want to escalate on a girl, you want to kind of get her body temperature up, because that's what's going to help you pull, because you have to make her horny, or she has to be horny somewhat for you to be able to kind of be like, yeah, let's get the fuck out of here and do our thing. And whereas in these clubs, you have to be very kind of careful, you have to calibrate. I still have just as much fun, but the environment is very different, because it really depends on the people that you're around. Like, in a normal club, it's just everybody's going wild and everybody's doing their own thing. In these clubs, it's very different. Like, if you're acting like a fool and you're the only one, then everybody's gonna think you're weird. Like, it has to go along with the kind of the whole crowd, right? So if everybody's dancing and you're the center of the attention, then it's great. But if the whole group is just like chilling out, they're not doing much, like, and you're just there dancing like a weirdo, then you're just gonna seem like a weirdo, basically. So it's very much like you just kind of
calibration as usual.
Calibration, yeah, but also you have to pick your fights. Like, some girls in these Mayfair clubs, they have their own agenda. They want to meet celebrities.
Hashtag gold diggers.
Hashtag gold diggers. They want to meet celebrities. They want to. They're either there for drinks. They want to meet some kind of celebrity. They want to like fuck some high status guy. Like every girl's got some different thing on her head, right? So you have to actually pick the ones that are really DTF and are down to go, and they want to have real fun. Like a lot of these girls, if you actually end up going to these clubs over and over again, you're actually going to see the same girls for a certain period of time because. And what ends up happening, it's funny, like everybody ends up sleeping with the fucking same girls because like
Eskimo brothers.
Everybody ends up sleeping with the same girls because it's kind of like the recurring people, like really pretty girls, the same guys that get the bottle service, the same promoters, and then they just kind of refresh every few months, like new girls every few months.
Okay, I've got a question for you on this area then. Promoters then, is it true? Do they bang all the girls or what? What's the deal?
Fuck me, man. If you're a fucking promoter at a high-end club and you're bringing girls, like you can easily bang like a girl every night if you'd like to. Like these guys, they've got like lay ratios like 200, 300 plus, if not more, because it's just, you're the highest value guy because you brought the girl in. It's your table. She thinks you're a big baller. Like you're giving her drinks. It's kind of like automatically like you're the 10 out of 10 in the room. Therefore, girls are going to be like, not necessarily all over you. Some girls are. Some girls definitely going to be all over you. Like the kind of lower end girls, others, they're gonna just like you automatically because either you already know them as well. Like a lot of these girls you're gonna know. Like promoters, they have like a list on their phone, like 1,000, 2,000 plus, like girls, whatever that. So they kind of have the first pick in a sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's not so much about skill. It's just like in these clubs, it's a lot of smoke and mirrors. Like if you seem like a high value guy, then people just assume you are. Yeah. You might be a fucking loser outside of the club, but it's all about situational value. So in that club, you're like a 10. So the girl thinks you're like a magician. And
so from your point of view, then that kind of leads into social proof and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What do you reckon the average guy can do to like amp your perceived social status?
I think obviously it really depends on the situation you're in. Like say if you're at work or like if you're at the club, like if you're a promoter in the club, obviously you're bringing everybody in. So you're kind of the leader. So what you can do in your normal life is just become like the leader, say, of your group, of your friends, of your environments, whether that be the workplace, like fun places, like bars and whatnot. So that's what I was trying to do, for instance, in like these Shoreditch clubs or like the clubs in central London. I was trying to be like the leader of the party, the leader of the scene.
Yeah.
And then that would kind of give me some social proof and it made me seem like I was like of higher value to the girl, because at the end of the day, every time you go into a situation, there's a marketplace. Like girls, they're gonna be kind of like, they're separate from the boys. Obviously, the boys are gonna be, there's gonna be like typically in London, there's more boys than girls, so you're already a bit of a disadvantage. But then there's like prettier girls, there's uglier girls, there's high value guys, low value guys, and you just have to kind of raise your value any way you can, like socially with social dynamics. Like if you have fun in the club, if you seem like you're having a good time, then people are just going to automatically gravitate to you, and it's just going to make you look.
That
really
is very true. Cool. Right. Okay. Well, we need to bring this to a close, but before we do, we need to move on to one final topic. Like I said at the very start of this podcast, how similar the worlds of business and sales, how similar they are to the skills and experience you need also with girls as well, in a sense of, you're constantly putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And you left uni, didn't you, to pursue your own business? Yeah,
I mean, I left uni about a year and a few months ago. Like I was going to Greenwich University, I was studying economics, but for the longest time, like at that point in my life when I was going to uni, I was just having fun. All I cared about was girls, right? And basically, I just wanted to have a lifestyle that would allow me to be able to go out to the club and be able to like kind of live off while having all this fun, right? So since I dropped out of uni, you know, I worked at a supermarket. I had like these like jobs that weren't going nowhere. And then my friend, he had set up a business, and he kind of introduced me to his business, and he kind of told me like you can actually start your own business online, and it's something that a lot of people are doing nowadays, like online business and whatnot. And I just
so you're self-employed basically right now.
Yeah, I am right now, and that was like kind of one of my dreams for the longest time, because as a guy, I really don't like working for other people. I don't like to be told what to do. I'm very like independent, and that was something that I really hated. Like when I was working at like a supermarket, and even being at uni, like teachers telling you have to do this, blah blah blah, and I've never been the type to conform too much. So yeah, I mean, for the last half a year, just been working hard on my business, and finally it's getting some success and some results. And
so can you just describe what your business is?
So I do online marketing, so specifically like Facebook advertising and online marketing and websites, that kind of thing.
How do you get clients? I'm curious about this personally.
So I send proposals, or I call businesses, call them. So like I find like different businesses on the internet. I use like freelancing websites as well, people who actually need like Facebook advertising services, and I send them proposals, emails, whatnot, and then they get back to me, and I schedule a time with them through like an online calendar, so I actually know when I'm going to be talking to them, and I get them on a Skype call, and I actually have like a sales call with them. Like I have like a step-by-step process, like introduction, like I qualify them hard, which is like a big thing in game as well, qualifying girls. A lot of guys don't know what that means. Like qualification is one of the like biggest skills you can have just in life in general, right?
They have to know why you chose them, and they have to
kind of come up to your standards. Are they up to your standards? Like, is this girl up to my standards? Like, is she good enough for me? Once you actually switch it, and you stop chasing the girl, and she's actually chasing you, or the client or the prospect that wants to work with you is chasing you, and he's qualifying to you, he's basically selling himself. You don't even need to sell to him. That's the funny thing about sales. People think, oh, sales is very shady. You have to like lie to people. But actually, getting sales and like sleeping with girls, it's not so much as you doing all the effort. It's more like putting the frame, setting the right frame as they're trying to get to you. They want you, and then you slowly kind of guide them through that process.
Yeah. And so ultimately, they have to want the product.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean,
that's true.
And you're just there, like you just said perfectly. You're there to guide them towards the product, and then at the end of it, everybody should be happy.
So obviously, there has to be a need for the product. If there's no need for the product, then you're not going to get any sales. So just like in game, if a girl's really horny, she needs the product.
Needs some of that.
She needs some of that product. or like if the girl's available. If the girl's not available, like you're not going to be able to get her. As simple as that. If she's 100% not available, then it's like just move on, because it's not going to go anywhere. So if the client actually needs the online advertising or like a website, then that's the only way you're going to actually sell to them. If they don't need it, then there's not going to be anything sold whatsoever. So qualifications, as I said, is a huge part. In sales, a big thing that you have to realize, just like in game, emotion plays a huge part. Like we make purchase choices based on emotion. So everything we buy and we do is based on like an emotion.
Yeah, we think it's logical, but it's logical,
but actually we rationalize it after we made that purchase, or even before we made the purchase, we rationalize why we need a certain thing, right? So just as like in sales, you really have to understand what's the emotion behind the actual need for the service, Facebook advertising, online marketing, whatever. Like you have to really get deep to that root and why they need the market, the product or the service, because that's the only way they're going to make a purchase is by being emotionally invested into the choice. So how does that translate to actual girls? Like, a girl has to be really into you, in a sense, really invested into you, and then she's actually going to sleep with you or have a relationship with you. Like, you won't be able to have a relationship with a girl if she doesn't know you or she doesn't care about you, in a sense, right? She has to be invested into you.
Yeah. I think that's the perfect time. I feel like we should talk more, but we can always have you on again. It's been amazing.
Sounds good.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
So yeah, man, thanks a lot for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Do you want anyone to kind of reach out to you on any social media? Do you want to give anything out, or are you just good?
No, I'm good. Like,
people know where you be at.
Oxford Street, is it?
Look for an Albanian guy on Oxford Street, guys. You'll see this guy.
Yeah, whatever. Like, you guys can hit me up, like on Facebook. Yeah, you can probably contact Kez. Can they contact you?
Yeah.
Probably no.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing my own thing, man. I'm like on my lane. And that's something that I'm really focused on doing what I'm doing. So yeah.
Cool, man.
If you guys want to be part of the fun,
wish you all the luck.
Yeah, you too, man.
My man.
Thanks a lot.
And yeah, man, we'll call it a day.
See ya.